Oh my gods, they did it. As most of us probably knew from the trailer, this mighty image of Loki sitting on his throne was still not featured in the show. Finally, we got the payoff. Here it is, I love it. I saw this image pop up as the leading image on IMDb, and that confirms it. This moment, y'all, wasn't part of the show after all. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After a Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. This is the channel that's specifically about movies, shows, and all that's Disney Plus original stuff. So just a fair warning here before we start, I do want to discuss spoilers to really do this episode justice. So maybe press that watch later button if you haven't seen it if you like. Yeah, still here? Let's go. Before we're going to dive deep into this world-shaking, universe-bending, literally universe-bending episode, let me first clarify. Yes, this image wasn't in the show, and I love Loki for doing this, the show Loki, because it completely pointed me in the wrong direction. Last week I saw everyone around me and everyone on the internet talking about it's probably going to be Kang. Maybe a Loki variant, but probably not. If that will be the case, I'm going to be disappointed. You know, I heard rumbles like that, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, I feel bad for all of you, because this scene is still not featured in the show, this shot right here, and the chance of Loki and Sylvie finding another Tom Hiddleston's Loki, who escaped his timeline and just sits there on the throne ruling everything or something like that, the chance was pretty high. No way it's still going to be Kang, I thought. Well, I was wrong. Jonathan Majors as Kang is revealed to be the one pulling the strings, you could say, and that is revealed pretty early on in the episode, after Loki and Sylvie talk with Miss Minutes. And this scene, this piece of dialogue between Miss Minutes and Loki and Sylvie is so full of tension and emotion. She's actually offering them a new spot on the timeline where they can live together, rule a timeline, the two of them. And you can see in Loki and Sylvie's eyes, this is what we want, this is it. But it's exactly what will pull them off their path of, you know, making sure the world gets their free will back. So you know they're not going to do it, and that is what makes it extra painful. Oh, and one thing I'm not sure of, but we now know for sure there's going to be a season 2, is what would happen if Loki and Sylvie actually agreed with Miss Minutes' offer. What would happen? Could Kang actually give them what they want? Because Kang himself admits, no seriously, you two coming here is exactly what I already knew. So even though Loki and Sylvie are variants who are not supposed to be, according to the TVA, this whole path they're on is supposed to happen and is supposed to lead them right to Kang, right to his desk, right there in the position where Kang offers them his place, like his position there at the Citadel. I'll come back to that, but back to Miss Minutes now. How would this work? What would Miss Minutes arrange for them? Or is that too a lie? And also one question I have, what files did she pass on to Ravonna Renslayer? Ravonna says, this isn't what I asked for. And is this stuff she gives to Ravonna on that tempad thingy about Loki and Sylvie? I'm not sure, I have no clue actually. If you have any idea, I would love to hear your theory in the comments. Let's see where this goes in season 2. I thoroughly enjoyed the performance of Jonathan Majors. Is it Mayers or Majors? I don't know. And it fits so well with his backstory. So we know, now that we've seen that expositional flashback told using some technology that looks like it's from Wakanda to me, something to think about, that Kang was originally a scientist from Earth who discovered that there was another dimension to the universe. Or actually multiple. Essentially the multiverse. And his whole energetic performance, full of irony and wit, a little bit of narcissism, I loved it, and you see the curious but crazy scientist reflected in his performance, and that is why he's so good in this role. He describes the first contact between other universes as a narcissistic, self-congratulatory piece, which is hilarious, and the example he gives is so perfect and down to earth. Nice shoes, thanks man, love your hair. It's great that even in this season finale, where all sorts of big secrets about the Marvel universe are revealed, the show can still have a self-aware moment like this. 3 villains sitting at a desk, none of them truly good, none of them truly bad, talking about what reality should be like. That's most of the episode, and Marvel pulls it off. It was a season finale with very little action, a lot of talking about the fate of reality and the universe and all sorts of giant things, but this show is wise enough to not make it a spectacle, because what is the spectacle really? The spectacle is the ultimate test of Lokis. The ultimate test that is about, is a Loki capable of acting unconscious, or is he falling into the old patterns of taking revenge? It's poetic, and the argument between Sylvie and Loki is the spectacle this show is ending on. Can't you see this is bigger than our experience? Loki says. Why aren't we seeing this the same way? Sylvie says. Because you can't trust, says Loki. So here we are, we have two Lokis, one has learned to use his judgment, one is still doing stuff out of a sense of revenge. I love that this ending of the show puts everything into perspective, into a grey area of sorts. The TVA and Kang the Conqueror aren't truly evil, they're trying to preserve order and prevent wars. The story that seemed to be a manipulative lie is actually a quite noble cause, you know? Now the tables have turned and Sylvie is essentially the villain of the story, if you think about it. By the way, the oh snap kind of look Kang gives the two of them when they start fighting, like being a little kid who just saw boobies for the first time, is absolutely perfect acting on his part. Hilarious. Just a side note. I absolutely adored the episode as it was so poetic in telling a conclusion of two Lokis, one transformed into one with his own conscience, one blinded by revenge. Jonathan Mayers as crazy scientist Kang is such a magnetic performance. The ending is great too. Loki is now thrown into a slightly different timeline where Mobius doesn't recognize him anymore and the cards are shuffled in a completely new way. Sylvie's the sympathetic villain of season 2. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. I loved watching Loki and talking about Loki weekly. That is why within a few hours I'm going to rank all 6 episodes of the show, so be sure to stick around for that if you like rankings. And of course, I'm curious what you thought of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoy the idea of discussing Disney Plus content with us, that red button looks familiar, right? And if you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's all in the description, or you can browse the channel page. Did you like this video? Then be sure to consider giving that a click. Thanks. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.